Either way, responsibly aggressive is going to be the theme. Okay, so here we are with the gold account, reset, ready to go. So like I said in my last video, the plan was to go fast and blow up accounts or pass. And the logic behind it was, if I took my time and I traded responsibly and I did, what a responsible trader would do with a real money account, it would take 2 to 3 weeks to pass this evaluation. All depends, on, and if I decided to be aggressive and just go big on my trades, then I could pass it in 2 to 3 days if everything is going normal. And if the strategy is in a cold streak, then it could take a couple weeks to pass. So going big gives me an opportunity to pass in 2 to 3 days. And worst case scenario, I pass in a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Taking it easy automatically guarantees it's going to take me at least 2 to 3 weeks. So I decided I would go big because the only difference at that point now is just the investment. So I make a little bigger investment, I get done quicker, I get on the green faster, and I get a quicker return on my money. And the end of the month or end of 2 months, I make a lot more money by investing a little bit more up front. That was the logic behind it. I've already passed accounts with Topstep. I've already gotten funded. I've already gotten payouts. I've already gone to live. I've already gotten payouts from my live account. Stuff like that. So I know I can do it. It's not like I'm just trying this for the first time and then being overly aggressive when I don't even know if I can do it. So I've chosen their direct to funded account, which is like $190, I think, $180, as opposed to the $150 account, and then you have to pay another $150 activation. So I've paid that little extra money for, I say direct to funded, but basically pass the combine, go right into funded without an activation fee. So that's the theory on why I was doing it that way. Tonight is this reset is my last reset for what is budgeted for this process. After that, I would have to take my time getting through the account. So if this reset fails, then it's going to take me another 2 to 3 weeks, making this the much longer way to go rather than the faster way to go. But there's no way of knowing I'm going to be in a cold streak with the strategy. The second part is, am I really in a cold streak, or is the strategy just broken? I find that strategies work for a period of time, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. Then they don't work anymore for a while, and they start working again, and they don't work for a while. And what I think happens to traders is, during the time when strategies don't work, if you don't recognize that your strategy is in decline, you may not scale down appropriately, and then you blow out your account during that time, and then you're not able to stick around for when things get hot again. So that's something to think about. So how do I trade responsibly? And then my second question to myself is, what should I do tonight in gold? Should I stay going big? Because right now, this is really unusual for all these losers in my strategy. Typically, you have a loser, you have a few days of winning, a loser, a few days of winning. You don't have 3 losers in a row, 4 losers in a row, 4 days and 1 day on, and 3 more losers in a row. Doesn't happen, hasn't happened in many months. So that's making me question what's going on with my strategy in today's market condition. So, and then what should I do tonight? Should I continue as usual, or should I kind of slow down, wait for things to start to become more normal in the cadence, and then scale up? But let me show you how I come to the conclusion of how much money I should do that with. Okay, so the first thing I need to look at is I look at the software I use, link in the description below, to build my trade plans and to do my back testing and all that stuff. So again, link in the description below for that software if you're interested. So in my back tests right now, I have a potential of 4, let me change the color. I have a potential for 4 red days in a row. I need to be able to survive 4 red days, but then I'm going to come back and trade on day number 5. And I could go into drawdown before I hit my profit targets. So I also have to have enough money in the reserves to be able to survive that drawdown on day number 5. So 4 plus 1, that's why that's there. So basically, instead of 4 days I have to look at red, I have to account for 5 days of trading. How much money do I have before I blow out my 150K combined with Topstep, $4,500 is what I have before I blow out. So now I take my 4 red days plus the 5th day, which is my trading day, gets me number 5. My max loss is $4,500. So I divide that over the 5 potential days that this has to survive. So 5 potential days, that means I have $900 in risk per day, not per trade, per day. Then I need to say how many trades or risk loss, my R loss, do I need to account for? So I could have 10 losses in a night mixed in with a bunch of winners. It's fine. But if my R, I have 2 R losses on the night, then I'm done for the night. If I have, one winner of 3 R, then I'm done for the night. So I have to know how many R's risk am I willing to give up before I quit, and how many R rewards am I expecting to make before I give up? Because if I make my 3 R's and then I keep on trading, I might get them all back. So I need to know what that night is willing to give me on average, and what combination of those numbers gives me the most R reward take home at the end of the month. So after I've determined that combination by going through my backtest blocks using that software, I can better determine what the right ratio of that is. So for me with gold, if I'm going to risk $1,000 per trade and I lose $2,000 in a night, which means I've lost 2 consecutive trades, then I'm done for the night. If I risk $1,000 for the first trade and I have a loser, now I'm down 1,000. Then my next trade, I win 3R. Now I'm up only 2R because one of those had to pay for that loser, right? So now I'm up 2,000. So now I could take another trade, and then I can go up another, 3R on top of that and close out the night. Or I can just go up an R and cut that trade early because I've made my quota for the night. But if I risk that 1,000 for that first trade and it's a loser, and then my next trade is a winner and I pick up 3R, now I have $2,000 in profit for the night. And then the next trade is a loser. I lose 1,000. I'm still up 1,000 for the night. And then if the next trade is a loser, now I'm break even for the night. You see how it's going? And then if the next 2 trades are losers, so I've had a lot of losing trades. So I'm able to keep on trading because I still have the money in my pocket. But once I've lost that 2R, if I'm risking 1,000 and I've lost 2 of those, and my account is showing negative 2,000, that's 2 of those are gone, then I have to stop. So I need to know what is the R loss that I need to account for. So in this case, it's 2. So max risk loss per day is 2. So I'm going to take my $900 up here per day that I'm allowed to risk, divide that by 2, which now tells me the most I can risk per trade is $450 is the most I can risk per trade. So with gold, with a 3R to 6R potential night, after some commissions and maybe some, split spread or whatever might take place, I'm rounding down to say I'm looking at a $1,200 night, $1,200 to $1,300 night on gold on a good night. On a really good night, I'm looking at $2,400 in gold. And if my risk is $450 per trade and I can only lose 2R in a night, then the most I can lose is $900. So my risk per reward per night is really fantastic. Now I might have more red nights as a result of having that, and it all washes in the end. But that's kind of how I do the math to determine what's going on. So now I can risk $450 per night. That's if I'm willing to lose my account in 5 days basically. If I really want to be responsible with my account and allow for cold streaks like I'm in right now, I need to double or triple that. So if I were to triple this, a safety factor, an account safety factor, times this by 3, so now I'm giving myself basically 15 is what I would have to do all this math off of. And down here, this 450, I essentially would divide that by 3. Which means the biggest risk now I can do per trade is $150. And then that would protect my account. So now on a night, the most I'm going to lose is $300. out of that $4,500. So 4,500 max loss minus 300. You know, I still got some room. Still got some room to go. So that would be responsible trading part one. Part two is how I scale up and scale down to make this last even longer and be even more responsible. Part three is how I track my trades so that I can see what's happening with my strategy using the software linked in the description below, so that I can then know whether or not I need to hit pause on my strategy, go to trader rehab, what's going on, is it me, is it my trade plan, is it the market, evaluate what's taking place, and then move forward from there. So tonight before I start trading, I will do an evaluation just to make sure, and then determine how responsible I want to be with this reset, which I could just go big and go home kind of thing on this one. It's budgeted for, but do I want to? I need to do some evaluation and see, run some numbers like this and see what's the appropriate thing to do. But anyway, I just want to give you some insight on what I look at when I'm trading and how I do some of my risk management. And yeah, we'll get into today's trades and see what happens. All right, so what I've decided to do is trade responsibly. So instead of just going big or going home again, I'm going to slow it down, trade responsibly as I just laid out, and just risk $450 a trade. It's still very aggressive. Don't get me wrong. 4 days and you're out is still very aggressive. Responsibly would be like 15 days and I'm out. But so I'll say I'm going to be responsibly aggressive instead of just aggressive like I've been. And just because everything that's happening with the strategy right now is not normal, and I don't know how much longer this is going to continue like this for. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit, give a little bit more breather room to the account, and see if this corrects itself or not. The risk to it is there's been so much red that I slow down, it gets on the green, and then if I try to scale up again, I time it to where I'm scaling up into the red again. It's easier when you can just stay consistent all the way through and then enjoy the ups and the downs. So it's a little bit harder when you're, you know, going big and then reducing and then going big and reducing and going big, because your timing could put you in a cycle that you just slowly bleed out. So a little bit tricky, but either way, responsibly aggressive is going to be the theme for the next probably week or so. All right, so let's see what happens tonight in the trades. This vertical line on my chart is because my trades don't start till after 9 o'clock. And then once they start setting up, we'll start taking them and see what happens. Okay, finally in the gold trade here for the evening. Let's see what it does. Got 2 strikes and I'm out, so hopefully this will just be straight winner and won't have to worry about it.
Order filled.
Okay, stopped out. Looking for the next trade.
Order filled.
Okay, so in long or short GC. This will be the last trade for the night.
Order filled.
All right, there you go. That's going to do it for the night. Tiny green night, but at least it's a green night. Let's go back over to the dashboard and we'll talk about the plan for Sunday. Okay, so we're going to start a new strategy on Sunday night. You know, tracking this gold strategy, it's falling off. It's falling off way below my expectations. So I've been tracking. I always track what I'm doing, and then I track what the strategy is doing. So the gold strategy used to have a 78% winning days with 57% winning trades. Currently, it's 67% winning days and 47% winning trades. And if I just took the grouping of like the last 10 days, it's basically 90% losing. So it's quickly fell more than 10% below what its norm is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on that. I put together a new strategy for gold based on current market conditions and what's been happening over last 90 days or so. That also works, but in the last 30 days, it's become a lot more favorable. It's increasing its probabilities, not decreasing, whereas what I'm doing right now is decreasing. So I'm going to jump into the other strategy, which I'm basically pulling off the back burner, which is now increasing. I find strategies do that. You know, they build up to like a peak, they do awesome for a while, and then they slowly become out of favor, and then they come back up and they kind of flow, kind of like your charts do. So it's time to flow back into the old gold strategy, and then we'll see what happens from there. All right, traders, hope you have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you next week.